session. Yeah, I mean, if you have thing you want to talk about, just unmute and just say directly throughout the session is fine. And yeah, so this session is about dancing with the star. And as you know, the star in this time, everyone talk on media and stuff like that is very, I mean, everyone know is the coronavirus pandemic. So it's not really fun to dance with. So that's not the real name of the session. So the session is dancing with fires. Like how can we stay calm? How can we be productive? How can we be very resilient when time is very difficult, right? Because it's very easy to be motivated. It's very easy to be pumped when time is good, you know, when the economy is good, when your entity is growing. But when time is hard like this, shit's get real, man. So yeah, so just a quick introduction in case you don't know me. So I'm Johnny. My real name is Manipatili. I'm from Cambodia. Yeah, very recently, yeah, I was in ISAC also. Just leave like last year. It's not too far. And yeah, and thing I'm very passionate about is philosophy, and that is something that I apply a lot living wise, whether throughout Isaac and also after Isaac as well. So I'd like to share that with you also throughout many some lesson that I've learned and something that I think could be useful, either for your MCP term and also how you live through this crisis. So yeah, cool. So throughout the as I look in the agenda and also things that you kind of need, I can see that a lot of things we're talking about is about the knowledge. Okay, how to do this, how to do that. So maybe this session is kind of like take a step kind of like further and deep inside just to see like what are the kind of wisdom that we can actually have, because wisdom can only be found within yourself by, I don't know, it's like understanding context and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm not representing my belief for this session, just an alumni. So just a quick note on how to make the most of this session. This session is pretty much a lot of content. So yes, a lot of content, storytelling, and stuff like that. So I would give you probably somewhere in the middle of the session, just give you 2 minutes just to note. So it's good to have like journal, like your pens with you. So I would just give you time to note for like 1 or 2 minutes each kind of like lesson I'm going through. And then somewhere at the end, maybe we can have time to share based on the time we have. Cool. So good. I would go very, very fast. So yeah, so this is me. 2014 is like it's less than a year when I was in ISAC. So when I show people this photo, they don't recognize me. They're just like, "Ooh, what the fuck? Like, how can you be so happy, extrovert, be on stage in front of everyone?" Because that's not me. Like now. So if I look at my ISAC experience for 6 years, there's two segments for that. One is before MC and another one is after getting to become MC. It's entirely different. So when I was LC, I joined as a member and then progress forward to LCP. The entity has been in a very, very good state. I mean, we're growing financially kind of good and stuff like that. Happy stuff. And it's good. I'm very motivated. I'm very pumped. And I've been doing a lot of stuff and stuff like that. And I was about to finish my LCP term, and then just a week, no, it's like 2 weeks before finish my LCP term, we have a national conference. And just before a national conference happens, like I was called by the MCP to go to MC house, and apparently there's a very, very big MC conflicts in the team, and the MCP fired one of the MCVP, and some people in the MC team not happy, so other 3 people leave along that person. So I was in that situation about 2 days before the national conference. I was like, okay, we don't have FASI. Okay, you have to FASI. So I'm like, I register and pay money as a delegate, and I have to FASI. So I become FASI. And apparently the MCVTM who resigned back then, she also deleted the whole conference agenda. So we don't have anything. So we have to create the whole agenda from scratch. So we went through that conference. My term as LCP finished end of December in 2015. And then yeah, I mean, 1 or 2 days later, the MCP called me again. It's like, hey, you want to be MC? I'm like, yeah, I mean, I want to apply MC abroad, but I don't mind. I mean, the MC team seems very fucked up. It's like half of the team resigned. I mean, I don't mind doing that. So I became MC. 1 week later, the MCP resigned because he was forced by the board because of his incompetence in leading the team. So very, very shitty like time. And then I got MC in Thailand. So I went to Thailand about 6 months later. I started term happily with a very cool thing about like 9, 10 people. 6 months, no, it's like 3 or 4 months later, my MCP resigned again. With about like other 2 or 3 people, it's like almost half. And that is crazy, right? I mean, I used to think about my LC experience. It's just very, very fun, happy, and stuff like that. And it's totally cracked my soul. Like that's why I cannot be as happy and also so be as extrovert as I usually am. And it's just like horrible in a way that like 1.5 year with very, very horrible MC experience. When I look at Isaac and just think about leadership experience and something empower me, I don't have that. And not even to go for another term, even to just staying in my term right now, it's just self-defeating. It's just like not enjoyable, right? Like the team is very toxic. It's just stuff is just so crazy that I don't want to be around it. And yeah, and the turning point is like, why do I choose to apply for MCP, right? And after all this horrible stuff, it's just like it's a good time to say bye-bye to Isaac and just move on with my life. But this was a turning point that kind of like give me a clarity and kind of like to internalize what it means to be an ISAC and so on. So it was when I was MC in Thailand, I went to IC. It has nothing to do with IC actually. I finished IC and then I just traveled. And I happened to be in Germany. This is Berlin. If some of you know that, it's the Jewish Memorial Museum. So I was there. And I'm kind of like, yeah, this place seems cool. Let's get into it. Like I'm new to World War II and stuff like that. I want to learn more. So I went into this, and underneath this memorial museum, there's like a museum, right? And I went there, and the first thing that I see that is very fascinating in a bad way is this quote by one of the survivors of the World War II, and it say it happened before, therefore it's happening again. And to me, it's just like, what the fuck? Like, how can someone be so negative about this stuff, right? And then the next day, I just went to the concentration camp. It was not planned. I'm just like, I feel very deep about it that day, and just the next day, I just say bye bye to my friend. Just like, I need time alone. It's a bit raining out there, so oh, like the sound is fine. Just let me know if it's not working. Just in the chat. I was looking at the chat as well. So yeah, so I was like, it's crazy. So I need time to explore. I went to the concentration camp and I went and actually reflect. And I think about this quote again, and I just realized that this guy is totally right in a way, because he wrote this after World War II, 1995, and it gave me a reflection back into the story of things happening in Cambodia. It's happened in 1975. It's called Khmer Rouge regime. It's like a genocide. Like it killed like 2 or 3 million people in Cambodia, which is very, very big. It's like it's like 3 to 4 years. A lot of people died. Happened when my mom was like 4 years old, and she had to walk like across city to city, and some of her siblings actually died of hunger and stuff like that, right? So I was thinking about it. It's like, yeah, this guy's right. Like World War II end, but there's more suffering out there in the form of wars or stuff like that. Maybe not in a world war scale, but it's out there, and I can see. And that is a story I've been taking for granted. And I was just thinking about like, shit, what if it happened 5 years from now? What if it's happened 10 years from now? I don't know. I cannot control that, right? And it gave me a reason that this is why I need to do ISAC, because I don't want to see that. And yeah, and I applied for MCP, and in that moment, I totally kind of understand what peace and fulfillment in my potential mean to me. It's very easy to explain to people when you become LVP and stuff like that. You're kind of like embedding Isaac way into your brain. You can't like read word by word, but it's not just that. It's I mean I did that, but this time I feel so much clarity because I am able to actually internalize that and actually have an image on that. So in the election, I started thinking very simple, like why I applied for MCP, and it's very, very personal. I was telling that in my closing speech is that I apply for not for the MCP role. I apply because I want to protect the future. I apply because I want to take the chance to do something. I don't want to wake up one day carrying my grandchild, running in the war zone and just trying to keep myself alive. I don't want to make excuses to my grandchild that I didn't do anything when I had the chance. Right? So that's why I do that. And it's very simple. It's no fancy kind of like vision statements or like, I mean, I did like in my paper, but this is how personal it is when it's come to vision. Like you need to be able to see it. And yeah, and that is a story I tell myself. That is the story I fight for. And also that is the story I tell my team and the entity, because it's that personal. And yeah, telling that story, it's just like, to me, it's very, very important to have that strong clarity. And when I applied back then, like the entity was $10,000 in debt, like crazy, right? And I was scared, like the moment I got elected, because I knew what, like, holy shit, like what the hell am I getting into? But I know that no matter how hard, challenging, like the difficulty it is, my why is stronger to actually make me survive that. And that made it through. And yeah, so that is one why that I have. And another one is that I share you about like how shitty my MC experience is, like 2-term MC resign and stuff like that, right? So that pain itself was painful in the experience, but I was able to find meaning in that, because I don't want my team members, like people in my MC team, not being able to have, I had to have that kind of madness in a team. And I want to give them the best experience can be. So that is my clarity. It's like our why can be so strong, and it gives us clarity based on the pain and the things that you've been through. To me, like one why is because I don't want like the future generation, my future generation, my future families actually to experience the pain that my parents went through in that genocide. Yeah, thing that inspired me, I before I applied for MCP, I mean the day before actually, like for my closing speech or whatever, I actually watched this video by Martin Luther King in his I Have a Dream videos, like the speech that he have. I mean, if you haven't, I would recommend that. And the thing is, like in US back then, like if you look at it, it's not the best thing to talk about civil rights and stuff like that. I mean, it can get you killed because like black people is associated with being slave and stuff like that. But because he had that clarity, that's why he fight for it. And if you listen to I Have a Dream speech, it's just very, very clear. He was talking about like, hey, I have a dream that like black kid and white kid actually sit down together and have a normal conversation and just play with each other, like, right? So is that crystal clear, and that is something that totally inspired me to actually hold ground on that why and to fight for what I'm fighting for. Two pieces of wisdom in this. One by Simon Sinek. He said that something I respect a lot is that as a leader, you need to think: one is a vision for the future, second is the ability to communicate that vision, right? So ask yourself, like, why are you applying for MCP? And I don't want generic question answer like, oh, peace and fulfillment, humankind potential, oh, leadership development, oh, my country and stuff like that. Make it personal, right? I mean, what do you want to do? What do you want to see? If ISEC is a tool, if MCP term is a tool, what are you going to use it for? What are you going to use it for? For me, I want to use it to fight for my futures, to prevent that from happening for me. And the thing is, like, it's not just having a strong why. You need to be able to like communicate that to the people also, because otherwise you're going to fight this battle alone, and you don't want that. And I respect like my team, I respect my entity, because in a way they join that battle with me to do things that I want to do. And you need to be able to communicate that, to make it very clear, to make it very personal. Because if your vision, I mean, it's like if your why or your vision is not personal for you, people cannot take it personally. If it's not clear for you, it's not, people cannot see it clearly. If it doesn't inspire you, it won't inspire the people as well. So ask yourself, are you inspired to take action based on what and why you want to do this? Second is that one who has a why can live with any how. And this is something to take note. I mean, even in easy time, and you can see I've been quite some time in ISEC, so I see throughout the way a lot of people quit, right? And it's normal. Because if you don't have that strong clarity, when you hit just small challenges, you because like, oh, I don't want to do that, and it's like whatever. But if you have the right mindset, if you have the right clarity and why, even if you don't know how to do it, you would go and push forward. right? In my MCP term, a lot of time I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but I have strong clarity. So that's why I'm just like keep myself going forward. So I give 2 minutes to actually note, and yeah, like maybe just write down in your journal. I mean, you can answer one of this, like why you apply for MCP. I mean, dig deeper. Okay, if you want to apply for MCP to impact leadership, then why leadership, right? Or like you want to save life, why save life? And most importantly, I want you to look at what does it look like in your definition of peace and fulfillment of humankind potential. Peace and fulfillment of humankind potential is a statement, but all of us have different definition. I have my own definition, what I told you before. Maybe yours is different. We don't have to have like exactly same kind of like written word, like the Isaac way, but visually, like what is that in your head? Like how can you internalize that? So yeah, and does your vision inspire you? Does it excite you? So I give you 2 minutes and then we can go on. So why you apply for MCP? You don't have to think about when you apply for MCP, like in the election, what you said. Maybe you have new why. Maybe you have new clarity. 5 6 months from that, it's like right now. Now there's the world have new issue. Your country have new issue. And what does this like why look like? And yeah, your vision look like? Who are you with? Who are you talking to? What kind of experience you're having? What kind of feeling you're having right now? If if you're at that level of the vision right now. Okay, wrap up your sentence. Cool. So first lesson that I'm sharing is yes, simple. Start with why. It's a book by Simon Sinek as well. You want to read about golden circle, whatever. But yeah, why is the most important thing? Like that is the first thing that I actually care as an MCP. Like that's the only thing that I actually care about aside from anything. With my team, that is the first conversation that we have. Like before our planning, we just go to the Genocide Museum and just let people like explore and learn about Cambodia and actually find their own kind of like why they're in this country. That's why we are able to go through my challenges. And that should be the first conversation that you have with your team as well. All right. So yeah, cool. So yeah, you have your why, you go through your term and stuff like that, but a lot of shit going on. Yeah, I mean, FP term is already hard, but I mean, it can only be harder, right? And there is pandemic, coronavirus, people cannot travel. So yeah, and stuff, many stuff happen. I mean, that we cannot predict future ahead, and it's very good to kind of like being able to stay calm in all this kind of like crazy situation that happened right now. And that's why I want to share this concept about practical pessimism. And a lot of time, like many people talk about, we need to be very optimistic and all this kind of stuff. And actually, being pessimistic is good for me if you use it right. And there's this process that I've learned within my MC term as well. It's called fear setting. So meaning that before you setting your goals, set your fear first. How does it work? And the example that I have is, I didn't really have a specific example of when I tried this when I was MCP, but a good one is when I was in regional office last term. So I got to be regional office and I write Philippines. And then we have a Slack group, and then Jesse just sent us a message that, hey, do you know that Philippines will have an earthquake? That will be about around now, and that will be the biggest one they're gonna have in 500 years. I'm like, shit. I have no idea. And to me, growing up in Cambodia, like we don't really have a lot of disaster. That's why you should move to Cambodia. That's why you should send if you anyway, like so I'm very happy. Like we don't experience earthquake and stuff like that. So to me, I mean, this stuff is new for me, super new. And I'm like, shit, like how am I gonna deal with this? And I reach out and kind of like apply this process again. And it's called the fear setting process. So fear setting process is about listing out all your fear, and then on the other column you put, is there anything I can do to prevent that? Third one, is there anything I can do to repair that or minimize the damage, right? And this technique is very powerful. Like it's used by many psychologists, therapists on, it's called cognitive behavioral therapies. So, so I put it down on paper. Okay, like what are my fears of earthquake? Because I don't want to go through the term every second asking myself, is it now? Is it now? Is it now? It's crazy, right? So, so yeah. So one fear is earthquake, and how can we prevent that? I mean, it's a natural disaster. I cannot do anything about that. But thing I can do beforehand is mental rehearsal. So I apply this philosophy that I've been working on, which is called memento mori. It's like they remember that you will die. So like throughout all time, especially when I'm flying, before I take off, I always imagine that my plane gonna explode, crash. I'm gonna die in that plane. So I totally get used to in this kind of feeling that I will die. I'm not scared of it. Like I don't care. I totally rehearse it in my mind. Second is having a knowledge about it. Like, of course, I don't grow up in an earthquake country, so I don't know how to evacuate and stuff like that. So I should know about it, which I didn't, which is fucked up. So, uh, how to repair? Okay, it happened. Keep calm. And and the last one is live like it's my last day. So this is to minimize the damage, right? So every single day, make sure I live like my last day, so that when it happens, if I die, then at least I have nothing left, you know? Like I say what I have to say to my parents, and I make the best use of my time while I'm alive. So nothing to lose. So so yeah, that is what I do. And you know, it's not useless because it happened. It's not the biggest one. So somewhere around April, so I was cooking. So I was cooking, and then I start intermittent fasting, and I start doing like 24 hours fasting. So I only eat one meal a day. So I just like about to break my fast about like 4 or 5 p.m. And then I feel very, I was cooking, it's just about to finish, and I feel like very kind of anxious. It just feel weird. And I was like, shit, maybe I haven't eat too long. I need to put it down. So I put it down. And Raj, the girl on the right, my right side, you see in the picture, she came run out of the room and just like, Johnny, can you feel that? I'm like, what? You're also hungry? And she stared at the light, and I look at the light and it's swinging like this. I'm like, oh shit. And guess what? We live on 27th floor apartment. So the building is totally shaking in this. And Tati was there also. Tati is the Indian guy with messy hair you see there. So he was sleeping, and I go in the room and just wake him up and just like, Tati, let's go, let's go. And he ran down with us without shoes. And when I was running now, I wasn't scared. Like I was the one in the front and just show people the way. This is the evacuation and stuff like that. And in my heart, just like, oh my God, it's happening, it's happening, it's happening. It's just like I rehearse so much that I don't feel scared, but I feel so excited in that moment. So it had me a lot. It kept me alive. And this photo, it just when we come down, everyone got together and we take photos. And I just order food because I haven't eaten. It's Jollibee, man. So so yeah. So I still use this technique until today. I mean, there's many things, right? Coronavirus, pandemic, a lot of things can happen. I could lose my job. I could get coronavirus. My family could get coronavirus. but I don't want to spend time every single day, like just to be scared about it because I want to be productive. And this is one of the exercise that I did in early April. So I lived different scenario. There's actually more than this, just a screenshot. So in my note, this is like my emergency plan, kind of like if it happened, what should I do? And that just kind of keep my heart at peace because I know that if it happened, it's fine. And I would go in an extra mile. Like I even rehearse some of the scenario, like I try like a few days sleeping on the floor, pretend that I don't have a bed to sleep anymore for like 4 or 5 days somewhere in January. And I think somewhere in April, no, it's like in March when it just broke out. I'm scared that I might not have food, so I stock up a lot of instant noodle, and I have money to spend on nutritional food, but don't comment on paracetamol, okay? I just Google and I research and I put it there. I don't know. Don't follow my advice. That is my emergency plan. Have yours. So so I stock a lot of noodle and just pretend that I don't have anything to eat and just instant noodle. So yeah, I mean I try that and just rehearse that out, and I don't feel scared. I live it through. So bye bye. So yeah, and that is something to set it off. And just an example, like I don't know if you know the story about Elon Musk when he was in university. No, not in university, maybe somewhere, maybe he was in high school or something when he was in Canada. So he did social experimentations. He kind of like, okay, what if I can only live $1 a day, and that is $1 Canadian a day. So every week he go instant noodle and just like do that, and he do it for like some time, maybe a month or something. And after he finished that, that is his conclusion is this: like, if I can if I can survive $30, $30 Canadian a month, I can do anything. I don't have anything to lose, right? And that's the thing. I mean, a lot of time, like when we're looking at the situation, we think that this situation is trying to kill us, but actually we are the our own enemy, right? The fear that we actually have. And just the image that I show in the beginning, it's just like maybe it's just a little cat, but we're seeing it just like a dinosaur or something. And that is something we need to kind of like rewire our perception on how we see our fear, so that we are not limited by our own fear. Cool. So two pieces of wisdom. One is the only thing that I have to fear is fear yourself. So don't scare of coronavirus and stuff like that. Like fear yourself. So keep your fear in check. Identify it. Know what it is. What is that you're scared for? Is it worth scared about? Right. So that you're not being paralyzed by your own fear. Second is that by Senegal was saying that we suffer more in imagination and reality. So look at the reality. Like, is it that bad? Or I'm just traumatize it, like to make it worse in my own mind. And that is something we should all look at. Cool. Cool. Now turn the table around. It's your turn. And I give you 2 minutes. And yeah, just identify what is that one fear and what is that one action you can do to prevent. Third is, what can you do if it happened, right? What if you get coronavirus? What if, I don't know, it's like anything, man, like anything you fear. Like, what if your entity is dropping? Like, what if one of your MCP resigns? Like, many stuff, right? We have a lot of fear. So put it there. So 2 minutes start now. So yeah. Okay, drop down your last thought. Anything that you think you can do to prevent or minimize the impacts? All right, cool. So it's okay, like to have just one or two things, and this is not to have everything mapped out. I would recommend just to have like 20 or 30 minutes tomorrow, Sunday. Just do that. Like look at that and just reflect through what I'm scared of, and that is the thing because imagine like your MCP term you're trying to run and you don't want to have like a lot of stone in your back, right? You need to kind of pause a bit and look at what are you carrying? What are the kind of fear that you're carrying? Can you put it off? And by doing that, like it helps you to kind of like release that. And yeah, and my recommendation is to do fear setting before setting a goal because when we set your goals, like you kind of like, oh man, like I cannot do this amount of change or I cannot like earn this much money because I'm scared. Like, what if this happen? What this happen? So put them on your fear. You become like a fearless individual. Then you can aim higher because you know that when things go wrong, there's always things you can do, right? Either to prevent or minimize the impact. And that's what I learned. Cool. So I started my turn. So first quarter is a pretty crazy quarter. So apparently it's the I just lucky enough I do in a term that is like that is the same year the national election is of the country, and the government they are very very shady, so they shutting down a lot of government. No, it's like agency NGO that has anything to do with U.S. aid or whatever, and they look at ISEC also. So I'm like, shit. So first quarter, a lot of time I have to run going back and forth to government office just to clarify what we do and stuff like that. Like because they've been shutting a lot of NGO, like even some international organizations, stuff like that. And a lot of shitty stuff happened. Like we have like 4 LC, and we have an EB of 22, 23 people, and 20 people. I know it's like 10 people resign in the first quarter. Either their EBs like cannot work together, or they just cannot work with us with the UMC. And I start term did not have any money. It's just mentioned before, like when I was got elected, like the NSC have $10,000 in that, and that $10,000 in that was no one else but the MC salary because they don't have money to pay MC salary. So almost to the end of the term, they use the money that they have and just leave $4,000 to my term. It's like, oh, so kind of you to leave $4,000. And then the transition, I found out that there's actually something with the partnership that I have to deliver, and that partnership just $4,000. So I don't have any money starting the term except like 1 month's rent, and like my MC team don't have salary. We only got paid like in November. That's crazy. And AP dropped in realization since day one. And as from a small entity, when everyone is dropping, like of course, like like talking about partnership, we only talking with the big one, and the big one will playing with the big one, and it's just hard back then. It's just everyone just trying to grow in their own way. It's just like panic, you know. So yeah, so in that situation, there's things that I need to keep in mind on what are the things that are in my control and what is not in my control. Because it's very easy to be stressed out on every single thing that happen, every single thing that can go wrong. But I don't have control of everything, right? I don't have control who's going to do a change with me. I don't have control whether AI or APO are going to send my MC team some salary to spend. I don't have control on my change number. I don't have control whether people want to stay or people want to leave. I don't have control what the government want to do with us. I don't have any control at all. And the thing is, like, the higher you go in any level of organization, whether MCP or regional office or even AI, we tend to think that we have control over the situation. We have control over the organization, but in fact, we're not. No matter whatever role you have, there's only kind of the three simple things. Like you only control your action, you only control your thought, and you only control your response. Like, how am I going to respond to the circumstance? Like, for example, if people are resigning, how am I going to respond to that? Am I just going to go and just like pull people from their house or what? How am I making the decision, right? Am I make the best of every decision I have as MCP? Because as MCP, I have to make a lot of decisions. Am I think enough? Am I gathering enough context to make the decision? Am I running my meeting? Do I improve the way I run my meeting? Do I make it effective? Right? That is in my control. My emotion, like whether I show my in front of my MC team, am I choosing to be kind of like unhappy or whatever? I just go and pump and just sharing all this positive energy, which I did. uh, and I'm in control of my action. What I'm gonna do, right? Am I gonna choose to procrastinate or do 2 more hours TikTok? And how I treat other people. Am I treating people kindly? Am I being honest? Right? So that is all my control. I mean, that's what I do as MCP. I just sit down, listen to people. I do the best I could on the way I run my meeting. I do everything as much as I can without procrastinating. And that is in my control. If I don't do that, I mean I don't do my job. Right? Very simple. Like, and yeah, and I don't know, just going through the term and until the end of the term, that is something that I don't notice much on how much we progress by just focusing on things that I can control. And yeah, so in the end of the term, we have a board meeting, and since the board they're not happy with Isaac, so I just try to get so much as many good stuff as possible. And this is just a few stuff that I found, which is I found surprising until the end of the term that I realized some of those. So once like we finished the term having one LC, first time ever we have an LC winning an award in AP conference. Quality, like we have like a conversion from finished to complete. The second in AP, I think first one back then was Indonesia, and we're the second. And growth, which is not too much, it's just a slight bit, but we leave a lot of legacy to the next term that they start growing in the first month from our realization pipeline. And profitability, we earning more money from exchange actually, and also yeah, like and also pipeline. So as I mentioned, like a lot of people resign in our term in the beginning, and it takes like 3 or 4 rounds just to select LCP. And after our term, like the next term, like 2 months later, 1 or 2 months later, they have LCP election. Every LCP got elected in one round, and majority of the LC got their EB full team in one round. And that's how crazy it is. And yeah, unlike the previous term that they have to cut some of the salary because they don't have to pay enough MC salary, we paid all MC salary, and we still leave 3 month reserve, and we still sustain a partnership which can gather next term revenue about like 4 or 5 months kind of thing, which is cool. And just something very random. We do two event with government. They're asking us for help, and that is like something to do with the World Guinness Record. I'm like, oh, cool. Like, I don't mind doing that. So just to kind of do stuff in government relationships quite a bit, so that we don't look suspicious. So yeah. And that's the thing, right? I mean, a lot of time when you're MCP, you're of course you're accountable with the where the organization is going. You're accountable for the outcome, but you don't have control of the outcome. You don't control with the number of realization you have. You don't control the number of coronavirus in your city. You don't have control any of those, but you only control the process, things that you're doing. And I would like to give an analogy of this archer. So this is an archer, a Roman archer, like more than 2,000 years ago. And this archer, they were famous, like they because when you're having a war with them, people scare of them. Why? Because they're known that they shooting arrow without having any attachment, meaning that whether they hit the target or not hit the target, they don't feel anything. So they're totally not having any emotions the moment they release. And that's the thing. And this archer, what they do is that they're focusing on the thing that they control. So they trying to find the best bow that they can have. They take care of it. when they aim, they trying to aim as hard as possible, and that is something they have control on. The moment they release the arrow, they don't have control anymore, because even a slight change of the wind, it can make you miss the target, right? So whether it hit the target or not hit the target, they don't care. They're just focusing on the next shot, because not even success, because small successes, sometimes we feel so too good about it. I'm not saying that you cannot celebrate. You should celebrate. You deserve it, but don't make it ruin your next shot, right? So that is the thing. Like trying to look at that, to like look at the process. Like what is the thing that I'm control right now, and how can I put more time doing that, and not caring whether I hit my target or not. What I care is that I do my best. I do my best with the thing I have control over, and that is something that I want to leave you guys with. And there's a bunch of things you can do with our control. And George Reveling, he have this very clear. There are 23 things. Actually, you can map up more. But I like this. He mentioned that there are 23 life choices that you can make, no matter how hard the situation is. What I like is like, be you, not them. Be a painkiller, not a pain giver. Yeah, build more, destroy less, read more, watch less. Be positive, not negative. Those are all your choices, right? That's the thing. So so that is my idea on what it's like being a good MCP for me, right? Because I want to make sure that everything that I have control over, I execute it nicely. I be good. I be a good person. I be a good person to talk to or work with, and stuff like that. Because those are in my control, right? Cool. Not in our control, it's something not seeing that our control and in a word, whatever not in our own action. Seeing that on no, like our action, sorry. Things that are in our control is property, repetition, command in one word. Things that are not even our action. I just want to clarify a bit, not to confuse. You control your body, yes, but in a way it's not, because if I walk down and I got hit by a car, I don't control that. In a way, like if I got coronavirus, I still cannot control that, right? Like I can only control how I react that. So yeah, just to avoid confusion on that. Yeah, by Marcus Aurelius, he say this, like be indifferent to the thing that make no difference, right? If you look at the number of coronavirus in your city, it doesn't really help you in a way on what you need to do. Then why bother reading at all? Like I don't look at those data. I only know the news when in my WhatsApp group in my team they're just talking about it, the prime minister translation of what we should do, and that's the thing that I should know. Like I shouldn't go out, or they will put me in jail and I lose my work permit. Right? That those things I should know. But I shouldn't be bothering about the number going up, going down, the stock market going up, going down, whatever. It's like, yeah, like do the best that you can. Not like sometimes not being informed is the best way to be informed. Reading a lot of news, it doesn't help, because yes, it's fact, but so what? What can you do about that, right? And a lot of time when we read news is built for you to read more. It's not there to keep you informed. And a lot of news that we read, you're just reading the opinion of people about the news, right? Like one example, like Trevor Noah, for example. He can have a lot of, I mean, I like watching him, it's fun. I mean, that is an exception, but just an example. Some of those. So just be mindful of that. So yeah, so 2 minutes. What are the things that you're anxious about? One thing, like one thing that you feel anxious about, an issue that you're experiencing right now. Let's say you're scared of getting coronavirus. Maybe you're scared of not having enough people on your team, or whatever. It's like whatever. It's like your the first issue that you have in mind. And what are the things that you can control, and what are the things that you cannot control. And I want you to focus more on what thing you can control. And yeah, is the situation, if worrying about it help? If not, then just stop. So yeah, 2 minutes. All right, start wrapping up your sentence or things. All right, cool. So the lesson on this is the less time you spend on the things that you don't control, the more time you have in the thing you can control. Make sense? So spend less time on the thing you cannot control, then you have more time on the thing you can control, right? Cool. So like I said, I mean, thing is bad, but it can always get worse. And one thing that get worse is halfway through my term. Things that happen and it kind of like I think the most miserable time that I had in my MCP term is that when I was broken up with my girlfriend, right? It could get worse. And she was, and I haven't dated anyone up to that. It's just like how much that experience actually impacted me until now. And and yeah, and it just made me feel very bad. And I don't know how to move on with my life. And I don't know how to stay focused in the things that I do. And it's just like when you lose someone, it just I don't know why I'm talking this stuff, but it's just like when you lose someone, it's just like it's just losing a part of you, like losing your identity. And to me, it's just like that because every day I spend like 3 to 4 hours interact with this person, calling or chatting or whatever. And after breaking up, I don't have that in place, and I don't know what to do with my time, 3 to 4 hours. And in a way, it's just like sitting down, being sad. That was it. And I was very lucky. It's like we broke up. It's just like 2 weeks before MCP submitted in November. And I was like, yeah, maybe it's a good time to kind of like hang out, see at the MCP and stuff like that. So I went there, and I have this like kind of like I wouldn't say enlightening, but like something that kind of like struck me, a piece of wisdom that throughout the conversation I had with Abdul. So Abdul was a PI back then. So on I think on day one, day two, no, I think it was day one. So we have an MCP lead, and then he sharing a lot of ideas and stuff like that. And then after the session, while we're checking the hotel, I just asked him like, "Hey, where do you get all these ideas? Why are you so smart? Is it because you're a PI?" And he was telling me that I mean he read a lot. Like he read when he was in office. That's why he get all those ideas. And I feel so intrigued. And this is what he said, and I still quote him. So as your team are growing, you need to grow faster than them. And as MCP, it's your responsibility to grow yourself. If you're not growing yourself, then you're not doing your job. Right? So I was like, shit, man. I never thought about this. So I was intrigued. Then I was just like, I should start reading. Starting from November on, I was reading like hell. And I consumed a lot of podcasts and stuff like that. Just like 3 or 4 hours a day just to fulfill the time that I don't know what to do with my life. And yeah, starting from November, I started reading because I always think that it's a good thing to do, but like we all have something that we think is a good thing to do, but we never do. And that's the thing. So I'm kind of like, okay, let's do this. November's 7 months ahead, 7 or 8 months ahead, end of the term, I read like 60 books plus. It's that crazy amount of books. And I was never the same. I was not the same person I used to be. I have a new identity. Like I became a reader. Like I wasn't just reading, I became a reader. And I have so much stuff to contribute to my team. Like, hey, this idea, this idea, this idea. Hey, this is a life lesson. There's sometimes I just drop in a quote, sometimes stuff like that. So I feel like I'm growing so fast and I have so much to contribute to my team. So just as a note though, like when you're just into your term, like some of you, especially those who have been MCVP before, and your MCVP never MCVP before, and you have a lot of stuff to give them. 3 or 4 months ahead, they start to experience a lot of things. They start to kind of like know how things go, know the flow. They don't need you anymore. So you need to be able to contribute more than your knowledge being a previous MCVP or thing you know about this entity. So that is my crisis that I have in November because I don't have anything more to contribute to my team as well. So it's like that turning point, just like boom, I have so much to give. And that is concept I would like to share about a lifetime and that time. And that is something I want to share with you guys. And a lifetime is the time, no, it's like start with that time first. That time is the time that you wait for things to happen, right? So let's say if I break up with my girlfriend, and then 3 to 4 hours, if I don't do anything, I can just watch Netflix, watch a lot of anime, read a lot of manga, or do some random stuff, go for a drink with friends, right? Because I want to wait for things to happen. I don't know what to do. And those times, when you pull that time out of your life, you don't lose anything. That's the thing, because your time is wasted. It doesn't contribute to something larger. It doesn't contribute to your life mission. It doesn't contribute to your quality of life. And a lifetime is different. A lifetime when you choose to live your purpose, when you choose to be with the people you care about, etc., etc. Right? Example. And the thing is like not just like just a simple story about me. It's just like how I choose to grow, right? And it can be anything. As MCP, you also have a choice. Are you choosing a lifetime or that time? Like a lot of time right now, we're in lockdown and we're kind of like, oh no, I don't want to know what to do. It's like, yeah, more Netflix and stuff like that. But that is not, I mean, that is what usually people should think about. I mean, think about, but that's not what you should do. You should prepare yourself and maybe do things that make you healthier, right? That is a lifetime. Yeah, and to me, like a lot of people ask me, like, especially my team, especially my manager, she always asks, like, almost every week, like, hey, are you okay? Are you okay? Like quarantine, like 4 weeks, 5 weeks. I'm like, I have the best time in my life. Like I've been doing so many stuff. I've been so productive in this time because I've been delaying exercise so long. I start doing that right now, right? I do so many stuff. I journal a lot. I do, and I play less and less and less video games, which is at that time, and that's the thing. And you don't want to have when the corona virus is over, you don't want to just tell people like, oh, I watch a lot of Netflix. I don't want to be that person. I want to be someone like who use that time carefully and just do things that make me grow, do things that give me that sense of control over my life. And yeah, and even without coronavirus or whatever, there's always daytime. Like I see even in regional office when I was working, I see a lot of people just waiting for us to do something for them. I'm like, come on, people, like I cannot do it for you. Like, of course, like sometimes people send you stuff late, like your MC planning materials coming late or whatever. But are you gonna wait or are you doing something? Right? Yeah, you can follow up, or maybe just create your own stuff, or maybe just do something else. Like just do something. Like that's your time, and that's the thing. You only have 1 year, 365 days, and every second you choose to decide whether this is a lifetime or that time, and it's totally yours, right? Think of your term as like a sand clock. It's just like going down and down all the time, and you're the one who get to choose what that time will be. Two legendary example. Nelson Mandela is like when he was president, I think he was retired back then or something. So somebody take him to the jail that he was locked in while he was fighting for freedom, uptight. Yes, how it's called, like uptight. So and the journalist or someone asked him like, hey, like how do you survive this? And his response is this: I wasn't surviving, I was preparing. That's something to think about, right? You don't want to just wait for coronavirus to open and then to finish, pandemic finish, and then you start get over your life. No, it's like do it now. So when coronavirus and pandemic is over, you're a step ahead in front of other people because you're waiting for that. Another example is Malcolm X. So his original name is Malcolm Little. So he committed crimes and he was put in jail because yeah, it's a crime. And then he like have years in jail, and then he doesn't know what to do, so he spent in the library in jail, which is cool, like a library in jail. Like I don't mind being there. So he was there, and then he doesn't have to do, so he spent time reading, and he reading until he wear out his eyesight. That's why he wear glasses. So the moment he leave jail, he was never the same. He become Malcolm X, fighting for civil rights. Same thing, like yeah, I mean, no matter how hard the situation is, you choose a lifetime at that time. It's totally yours. I'm gonna take five or 10 more minutes if you don't mind. Sorry about that. talk too much. Two pieces of wisdom. One is that no one is either lose the past or the future. You don't lose that because you don't own the past and the future. You only have the present moment, and that present moment is yours. And again, that present moment is yours for you to decide whether it's a lifetime of that time. Second, it's not that we have a short time to live, but we waste a lot of it. It's not that 1 year MCP term is short, but what do we do with that? Like, totally yours. And this is a very powerful question I want to ask you guys. Maybe 1 to 2 minutes. So it's something that I feel frustrated. Opening Facebook and people posting, oh, post 1 or 2 photos that remind me of happy time. I'm like, what the fuck? I can understand. And the thing is like when you're doing that, it's just like setting your mind, just think about, this is unhappy time. I choose this time to be unhappy. I'm like, what the fuck? Why do you have to do that? And this is a question I want to ask yourself. What is that things that you want to do or you can do that make this year the happiest and also one of the most productive time that you have in your life when you look back at it? And yeah, so list down anything you think you can do that you can make your MCP term the happiest and also most productive time that you ever have. Okay, let's wrap it up. And right. So yeah, so choose last lesson on today on choose more lifetime and less that time. So yeah, so out of all of it, so anyone want to share anything on the insight of what you learned so far and something you realize, something that you want to apply? Maybe we can have 1 or 2 sharing. So be quick so that we don't delay more time for your dinner and my dinner. So yeah, open your mic if you want to share.
Okay, so I can share. So actually, right now, actually feeling all of this anxiety, all this concern about anything regarding to the financial and stuff. But then, after hearing your story about anything, I feel like, oh wow, this is not the first time. I think I have a better clarity of the things that I need to plan to do. So uh, maybe get more insight from you to discuss what did you done back then, and to actually define what are the things that I can control, and to find what is the things that I want to solve in my time as well. And of course, to ensure that Isaac in Cambodia still exists in the future for next generation, for Cambodian people as well. Yeah.
All right, cool. Anyone else want to go?
Hi, Johnny. I can
Hello.
tell. I think for me, I realized a lot. I think I'm more of, I relearned a lot of stuff in your session. I think what I've learned is that fear more or less blurs how we can solve problems in a way. And having that kind of mindset wherein having or identifying what your fear is and putting action steps on how you can better solve it more or less changes my perspective on how to deal with fear. And it's something that I can also apply in terms of how I lead my team, because in a way I'm the type of person who's a I would say optimistic in a way. And I think given this kind of situation, I think this is the time we're in. We have to be really realistic in terms of identifying that so we can really look for ways on how to solve problems. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Emma. Anyone else? One last person?
can share. So, what I really got out of this was on top of what Chakra and Ima mentioned, it was a lifetime and date time. Because there are times in the past month where I felt like I had quite a bit of date time, which makes me very frustrated with myself. So, having this knowledge and idea about a lifetime and date time and making a conscious choice and having something to put to it rather than just saying and getting frustrated that I'm procrastinating, I think it will really help me a lot. Yeah. Thank you so
Right.
much.
Thank you. Your name is Phoebe, right? Phoebe. Phoebe.
Phoebe.
Phoebe. Okay. Oh, thanks everyone. So yeah, so this is just a quick exercise and some philosophical idea that I want to share with you guys. And I recommend. I mean, it's just short. I mean, 2 minutes each. So what can you expect? So I recommend you just to look back at the day. How can you dive deeper into that so that you can build that much more peaceful state of mind. And yeah, just to wrap up. So this is my most favorite quotes, actually. That's things that I try to hold myself to live up to. By Marcus Aurelius, he was saying that objective judgment now at this very moment, unselfish action now at this very moment, willing acceptance now at this very moment of all external events. And that is the thing that you can do, like every single moment, no matter how difficult situation is to control your perception. Like, how do you want to see it? And also your action, whether and yeah, and your willingness. Are you having the right willingness to do the thing that you want? And just to wrap up the lesson that I shared, like 4 lessons, yeah, internal your perception, look into your fear, do some fear setting, understanding is it worth worrying about those, and understand clearly, okay, is this under my control or not under my control, right? That is something you need to look at. A lot of stuff is not something you should be stressed about in a bad way. And action, choose more lifetime, less that time. And willingness, same thing. It's not just about knowing what are the things that you are not under your control, but to have the willingness to accept that you don't control that. So sometimes it's good to surrender so that you can unblock more your time to do things that you can control. And start with why, to have like that why in place, so that no matter how hard, challenging that you may face, then you can still withhold it. And yeah, I'm telling you all this is not to tell you it's like, oh, like you're it's this time is weird, this time is not normal and stuff like that, it's so hard and stuff like that. But like, I mean, in any point of life, like you always have challenges. You never live a life without problem, and a life without problem is not a happy life. Why I'm saying that? If you eliminate all your problem in your life, you don't feel happy. You feel average. You just feel normal, like that Sunday that you spend whole day watching Netflix, right? In life, you always want to have a good problem. Like, are you having a good problem to solve? And And that is the thing. And when we look at it, yeah, there's always some challenges and stuff like that. But that's how we grow as a person. That's how we be happy. Like giving a childbirth is very painful, but you're giving life, and it's make you very happy. Going to the gym, breaking your muscle is totally destroying that muscle, but your muscle growing stronger, and many more. It's like something to look at. That is what makes us human. So yeah, don't be blind by comfort. Yeah, it's good to be comfortable sometimes, but like it's in our gene, like to do stuff that is very difficult. So final pieces of note is this session is about dancing with fire. So be the fire and wish for the win. Wish for it to come. Like, yeah, I mean, just dance with it. Just have fun. This is not just about being resilient and just like, oh my God, I'm going to suffer a lot, but just enjoy it. Just have fun with it and just like wish for more obstacle because that is going to push you to be better. To me, if I don't experience that two disaster years in my MC team, I wouldn't become this person. If I don't go through the hardship in my MC term, I don't become this person, right? And just expect that, like when you're doing the hard stuff, you will get a lot of good results. And wind extinguish a candle and energizes the fire. Don't be the candle. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. So the challenges is there, but that what make you become a better person. Have that mindset. And yeah, it's just like playing video games, right? Like you're killing a boss in level 10 and you proceed a level. And when you go to a level 100 and you come back to the level 10, it's just easy. So stuff like that. Last one is that this is cool. Bad company is destroyed by the crisis. Good companies survive them. Great company are improved by them. And that's what I want you to think for yourself. You don't want to survive this like pandemic watching Netflix. I want to have this pandemic make me become a better person. That's what I want to do. And that's what I want to do if I'm the MCP in my entity right now. That is the kind of mindset I want to have. I want to make this entity better during this situation. And that's what I do. And just a fun fact, it's like in US, they have this Fortune 500 company, right? You know what? Half of those actually created in the recession. And to me, I'm very excited. I mean, it's like, yeah, pandemic and stuff like that, but I'm so excited to see what kind of technology, what kind of science, what kind of business is going to come up. What is the next Facebook? What is the next Netflix coming up? And that is excitement that I have, right? So that is something I want to leave you guys with. Have some resources if you want to look at it. Some books I think you should read. Something that is so aligned with this time as well. So yeah, that's pretty much. Thank you. So yeah, you can have your dinner. And I'm gonna go get my food. Cool. Wait, who's talking? It's you, right?
Me. Yes.
All right. Okay, cool,
Yeah.
man.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Johnny. It was a really good session, and we have the recording as well if you guys want to refer back. And yeah.